All right, everybody, welcome to the Degenerate Gamblers. This is Howie Dewey speaking to you live with my man Steve Velente. What's going on, Steve?
Howie, we're doing good. Not too thrilled about this Super Bowl matchup, but that's a story for another day. We're going to talk some college hoops tonight, right?
Yeah, we'll toss out some a ton of NFL props next week. Yeah, it is what it is. Look, I'm one of those guys that didn't jump on the bandwagon of conspiracy theorists with all my buddy about Kansas City.
They're
And
out
now
there,
I'm
Howie.
100% on board. I think the whole entire NFL is fixed, rigged, because the Bills that was the worst screwing I think I've ever seen college sports. I
Just
mean,
like they
professional sports.
listen, they were up there and they turned it while they were spinning it on the Buffalo Bills. Those poor bastards.
I mean, I, you see stuff with your eyes like, okay, that's a legitimate first down. Why are they moving the ball back 3 feet?
Yep. Right.
I'm,
What's going on? Wait, hold on. Oh, we're not gonna. Oh, you're gonna review it, but we're not gonna measure it because they didn't get to the line again. But they might have
dude,
got to the line again. But they could have. Yeah,
that was as
it's
shaky as it gets, man.
shady.
And I mean, the very end, Allen tosses one in the air, and before he tosses it, there's a flag thrown. And it's like, okay, why'd you throw that flag? Well, we threw it just in case Kincaid caught it.
Right, just in case, because now we need a
Oh,
backup plan.
that was some
We need a
shady
backup.
shit, but
I'm
it is
telling you,
what it is.
I wasn't on board with the whole conspiracy stuff either until after that one. They wanted the Eagles, not that the Eagles didn't blow the Commanders' doors off, but they wanted the Eagles, they wanted the Chiefs, they want a three-peat, they want to talk about dynasties, they want to give us all that stuff for the next 2 weeks.
No, I know. It's bizarre. It's really bizarre. But anyways, getting into uh college hoops this weekend was wild. Oh my God. Listen, you talk about gambling in sports. I had a 7 game parlay going. And my sixth game was
I hope
Houston money line.
I was gonna say I hope it wasn't Kansas.
No, I had Houston money line. I love Houston, and I'm
Yep.
watching the game, and I'm like, that was a great game to watch because I give credit to Kansas. I thought Kansas played as well as you can possibly play. They were every time they needed a big shot, they'd hit a three with a guy right in their face. Um, Essentially, you could say they had the game. What they were up six with 36 seconds to go, I think.
They were up 6 in overtime on the line, shooting a foul shot, missed it. Kansas goes down, hits the three, 7 seconds left. I think it was 13 seconds left when they hit the first when they missed the foul shot. Come down, hit a three, turn the inbounds pass
Yeah.
over. Kansas gets it or steals it. Houston steals it, hits a three to tie it to go to double overtime, and then Houston took it from there.
Dude, he stole it. The quick steal. You know what? I've only
Step
seen
back.
that once in my life ever where you steal it, step back, bang it. The only other time I saw it was a long time ago. It was with Dennis Scott was playing with Georgia Tech. He did the same thing. He stepped in front of a pass against North Carolina, caught it, stepped back, and nailed it and won the game. And look, I mean, I like this Houston team. I liked them last year, and I think they beat Duke to move on to the final eight if that kid doesn't basically break his ankle.
She,
Um, and
yeah.
I think he's playing for I think he's with the Detroit Pistons now, that guard.
He went to the league. Sheed there. Yep, he went to the league.
I
Yeah, no,
mean,
that was a tough, no pun intended, break for them.
yeah.
In the tourney last year, they're well coached. Calvin Sampson's a great coach. Probably going to be a Hall of Famer someday. They're scrappy. They're scrappy. They're grinders. They got the kid Cryer from Baylor, right? Or no. Cryer's the hell Cryer end up? CJ Cryer. Did he
Um,
go to Houston?
I think he's on that team, man.
Yeah, the guard from Baylor. I think he's been in college for like 46 years.
Yeah, he plays for Houston.
Yeah, yep.
And it's crazy. You look at, yeah, he did come from Baylor. And he leaves Baylor, goes to Houston. Baylor picks up the guard from Duke.
Yep.
I don't know. I'm not that impressed with Baylor this year.
No.
I'm just not. But look, here's the difference with Houston. This is why I like Houston. Um, they play better defense. I mean, just smothering crazy defense than any other team besides Tennessee in the country. I think I read where they caused their opponents to turn the ball over on 25% of the possessions, which is insane.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to be in every game. And that's how they won the game. They made that kid turn it over.
LJ Cryer, I was wrong on the initials there. Apologize, degenerates.
Yeah. So speaking of Houston,
Mm-hmm.
and I like them. So let's talk about some futures. I want to talk about some futures on this show.
Oh, hold on. I interrupted you, though. You had that parlay. You had Houston. Did you
so listen.
Did you cash?
Yeah. So listen, I'm 6 for 6. Now, who do I have in the final game? And this is a team that I lost all respect for. They're ranked number 5th in the country going into the futures. Alabama plays. They're my final pick. I think they were originally -19. I got a -9.5. They play LSU at home, and they can't stop. And LSU's terrible. LSU is one of the worst teams in the SEC. They basically can't beat anyone.
They were 19. Was it 19 points was the line?
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think they won by 5.
5.
Something like that, and screwed me out of my basically I was just dicking around. I put like $30 on a game parlay that brought back 900. Just screwed around with it, and all I needed was Bama.
All you needed is Bama.
And I never got a chance to cash out or anything because it was a close game the whole game. They just couldn't stop. I don't look, Alabama, that little left-handed guard, I love that kid. Hell of a player. They don't defend the post very well. They don't play defense, man. They have, I think, their next 7 games. They play like Tennessee, Auburn, Vanderbilt, Kentucky. They're going to lose 3, 4, 5 games coming up. Look, don't get me wrong. I love the SEC. I think it's the best, top to bottom conference in the country.
Yeah, we talked about it last week. The SEC's taken over. The ACC is the best conference in college basketball. Mark Sears is who you were talking about, the guard. He only played 17 minutes in that game, Howie. So I guess we got to look into that to see if we got an injury on the fronts.
He may not have. He may have been injured. I don't know. I was at Saratoga City Tavern watching that game, and I won TV, but I saw 4 of them. So,
hit the one in the middle, Howie.
Yeah, it was like Mickey Mantle, man. So, so here's the thing. You look at the SEC. Inarguably, the top 2 teams in the SEC are Auburn and Tennessee.
Yep.
And they played each other Saturday night. Tennessee, I thought, should have won that game, man. Yeah. I mean, you want to talk about a team that plays defense. What was the final score of that game? 53-51, something like that?
Lockdown.
I mean, so you talk about the SEC. Why are they good? Southern schools. I'll tell you why they're good. Who's the best point guard for Auburn? Probably the top 5 point guards in the country. Where's he from? He's from Jersey City, New Jersey.
There it is.
Tennessee.
Now hold on, Howie. Mind you, Auburn's averaging 84 points a game this year. 84. They held them to 53.
Tennessee plays D. They play D. And, of course, who's their point guard? One of the best point guards, the Ziegler kid from Long Island.
Yep. Long Island, Strong Island.
You got all these Southern guys. They always have a point guard or a guard. They're all from New York or up here. I mean, and why are they going down there? It's the oldest thing. It's because they're getting paid. It's because they're getting paid.
But Howie, the degenerate listeners will thank us here as we make this statement right now. Rick Barnes cannot get it done in the tournament. So the Tennessee Volunteers might make it to the Sweet 16, but that's as far as they're going to go with Rick Barnes leading the troops.
I don't, if you look at him, he like last year, I can't fault him. He gets them down to the Final 8, and what happened? Yep. Their guard breaks his ankle, and their big 6'10" guy gets hurt. So he had 2 of his top players that couldn't play.
Right.
They
No,
got
it
stuck.
happened to him at Providence, happened to him in Texas. He gets there and he
Yeah.
just can't get over that hump, which,
But he's got the talent this year, in my opinion, to do it. Of
yeah.
course, you know, there you can buy Tennessee to win the national championship right now at plus 1,800. $100 brings back 1,800. Um, I'll tell you who I like. I like Houston to win the national
Mm-hmm.
championship. You can get them on, I think, MGM at plus 1,000. And you look at the top two favorites, Duke at plus 425. I'm going to tell you right now, people may get pissed. I don't like that at all. I
No,
watched them last night. They could have lost to NC State last night.
they won by 10, but the score definitely didn't indicate the
That was
the
a close
effort
game.
put in 100%.
Close
NC
game.
State was up 4 when I clicked in the beginning of the second half. Then Duke locked them down on D. NC State struggled offensively, which they have all year. So, Duke kind of just exploited their weaknesses and took control and won the one game by 10.
You know what's crazy is you look at that NC State team, and it looks like a damn identical NC State team last year that barely got in the tournament and went to the
Yep.
Final Four.
I know. I don't think that they have, they don't have the guns that they had last year.
Well, they had the big guy in the middle who was just a beast. But you got them. You got Auburn at plus 450. I like Auburn, but like you said about Rick Barnes, Bruce Pearl, he's
Same
great at
thing.
home. You
Yep.
get Bruce Pearl in the tournament. Who's he lose to? Yale. I mean,
yep. No, it's a fact.
I had Yale against Auburn last year? Yeah, they were plus. Shoot, I think Yale was they were plus like 16. We had the money line. It was like plus 600. I said, they're gonna give them a game.
Yeah.
But I like Houston at plus 1,000. I like, even though Iowa State lost last night to Arizona, who's playing better than anyone in the country, I like Iowa State at plus 1,100. That's a good value.
Caleb Love hit a 3/4 court shot to take that one into OT. Kid's got a flair for the dynamic, Howie.
Yeah. And I think he shot 3 for
dramatic.
20,
I meant to say
dramatic.
Too. I'm not good with big words.
Hey, here's one for you. You want a value play, and I think this is the best team in the Big Ten. You can get Michigan State to win a national championship at plus 3,000.
3,000. I'm looking at it right now. Great coach.
We're talking about a coach that will get you there.
Yep.
I mean,
he takes less and does more.
Yes.
Always has.
You can say what you want, but Tom Izzo, arguably the best coach besides Rick Pitino, top 5 coaches in the country.
How about Pitino with the Johnnies right now? I mean,
I'm getting to that one because that is my pick. You want a pick to win the national championship, and I like the Johnnies you can get them at plus 6,000 on MGM right now. They're plus 3,500 on Bet360. DraftKings plus 5,000.
Yep.
How can you not toss $100 on a Rick Pitino coach team if they can get this guard back healthy, that Devian Smith, and they can get them back healthy? They have a chance.
No, you got Rick Pitino leading the charge, so you can never count that guy out when he has talent.
Give me a better guard in the country than Kadari Richmond.
Kid's a baller. Third team here in college. Started at the Q's, went to Seton Hall, and now he's
And speaking of that, St. John's plays Georgetown tonight.
Yep.
You got and here's the thing: Georgetown's plus 5. They're playing at Georgetown, and I'm telling you right now, that's probably going to be a 2-3 point game. Even though I love St. John's, this is the best Georgetown team we've seen in years.
So how about these lines, Howie? And I don't know how accurate action is right now, but it says FanDuel's got him Georgetown plus 5.5, but DraftKings has him plus 3.5.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah, I'm looking at FanDuel plus 5?
5.5. I'm looking at it right now.
It's all over the place.
Action. Yeah. So
I think, if you look at the last, I just think Georgetown plays everybody tough. They're at home. They have 2 good guards. And It's a rivalry. It should
Yeah.
be a very close game. Should be a close game, but I like the futures. I'm going to toss them on St. John's to win the national championship at plus 5,000.
It's
Um,
not. It's good value.
I
Unfortunately, you got to go out of state lines to do it here if you're doing it legally.
well, can't you when I get back to the city, I get on the train. It takes me 5 minutes to get to Jersey.
And there you go.
I walk to,
I go over to Massachusetts. And,
well, yeah, or Vermont, right?
Yeah, right. Yep.
Yeah,
I don't get it. So you're telling me right now that I can go across state lines 30 minutes from now, but my wager is going to sway a kid down in New York City to make or break the NCAA tournament.
I have no idea why. I don't know.
New York does what they do.
You got kids at small majors and mid majors just shaving points left and right. They're shaving more fucking. It blows my mind. I mean,
You had what Eastern Michigan was doing it last year, right?
they have it.
All
A few weeks ago.
Yeah,
We talked about that on the show. Eastern Michigan lost 2 games. Huge amounts of money were bet against them in the first half. They lost both of them. And then when all eyes were on them, they end up blowing out the next 2 teams as minus or +6 and +8 underdogs. So and still they must not be good, or maybe they don't have enough investigators because all the kids are playing.
yeah, right.
Nothing's happened.
Maybe.
I don't know. It's interesting.
I don't know either. Yeah, right.
So there you have for some future bets. Those are a few that I like. I mean, I just don't like. I can't bet Duke at +400, Auburn +400. I don't think I think they can get knocked off. Duke, Cooper Flack's probably the best player in the country.
100%. How you think this is kind of going to be a little bit like college football was this year? The beginning of the year, Ohio State was everybody's team to get there and get it done, which they did. But then, basically once we got to the playoff, it was anybody's ball game. Are we going to see chalk again here at the end, even though the value isn't as great as it could be?
It's possible. Duke or Auburn could win the national championship. I mean, if Auburn gets the big fella back,
Johnny Broom.
Yeah, if they get Broom back,
full health. Yeah, he needs to be full health.
He's a monster. I mean, he's having a great year. I like that way that kid plays. They got a great guard. Auburn, they have the talent to go. They could also get beat. There's too many good teams this year. Florida could beat anybody. Florida has the best team they've had since Billy Donovan was there. University of Kentucky, when they're healthy.
And hold on, Todd Golden did get acquitted or got cleared of all sexual assault charges or sexual harassment charges.
He had like 17 ass grabbing charges against him. This guy sending dick pics to every girl on campus, snapping off in the bathrooms.
My boy Tooley said, well, I wonder if the chancellor had to bring him in, pull his pants down and check out his package just to clear him for all wrongdoings.
Dude, he was Brett Favre the shit out of every chick in the training room. I don't know how they acquitted him. So they're like, they looked at, he had 17 different charges that every type of sexual freakiness you can do via technology, he was doing it.
He was doing it.
That's my kind of guy, man. I got to root him on, man.
Let's go, Todd Gold.
They were like, look, man,
like a saint.
They got together, the board of trustees got together and said, hey, not this year. This squad is good. We're rolling. Yeah. Let's just have a sit down with him. We'll buy him a couple escorts. We'll get it out of his system.
Tell him to do better.
Yeah, let the kid coach. This is it's like the guy a couple years ago that they booted out of Texas A&M for tossing his wife a beating. Texas, Chris Beard.
Texas, Chris Beard. He's at Ole Miss now.
Having a great year.
Got him ranked. Got him playing good ball. SEC. I'm looking at it right now because Kentucky, Tennessee is going to be a big game tonight. But Tennessee's 5th in the SEC right now, but ranked 8th overall in the top 25. So that's telling you a lot about how good the SEC is this year.
I know. And they're big favorites tonight against Kentucky, like 9.5, something.
10. I'm seeing 10.
Woo! I mean, wouldn't you think that's a 5-6 point game?
Easy all day.
You got to see Lamont Butler. I want to see if how healthy he is. He's been taking a beat down this year, and you got to have him healthy.
Yep.
He's got to be healthy for them to be any good.
He's out.
He's
He's
out.
out
Yeah,
for
he's
tonight.
hurt. He's
Yeah.
been
Yeah.
taking a beating.
Yep.
Like the first game of the year when I picked them to beat Duke, and they were big
Yep.
underdogs.
Yep.
I said Duke does not have a guard that can hang with Lamont Butler, and they didn't.
No.
That's the one knock I have on Duke is their guards. I have the nut. Look, Flag's great. The other big guy's good. Duke would struggle against a Tennessee, even a Houston, who's going to pick you up 3/4 court.
Right.
Physically.
Yeah, Proctor's not that guy. He's not, he's not going to get it done. He hasn't got it done in 3 years there. So
No, they have good guards, not great guards.
yep. And you need that to excel in the tournament. You need that great guard.
You
play.
gotta have. Lamont Butler when he brought San Diego State to the Final Four 2 years ago. That's the guy you want the ball in his hands at the end. You saw what he did when he was healthy against Duke this year. He one-man wrecking crew against him. Florida's got good guards. Houston's got great guards.
Yeah, shoot it.
I'm looking at the teams. Auburn's got one of the best point guards in the country. Tennessee's got one of the best point guards in the country. Michigan State's got good guards. Looking down here, I'll tell you who I'm not impressed with as far as guards this year is Connecticut, UConn.
No,
they don't.
No, they lost their top two.
Michigan, great big guys, very average guards.
Yep.
St. John's, Kadari Richmond. Are you kidding me? He's one of the best guards. That's a guy you want the ball in his hands. He's 6'6". He can back you down. He can shoot the 10-footer. He's a great passer. So you look, realistically, I'm looking down. Gonzaga doesn't have the team they've had in the past.
No.
I do like Texas A&M. They play tough.
I was just looking at them. Buzz Peterson led, great coach.
Yeah, he wins everywhere.
Going to be battle tested in the SEC, so they're going to be a team that you better keep on your radar.
And even though they lost last night, Iowa State could have the best backcourt tandem in the country.
They lock you down.
Those two kids can score. They're quick. So that's it. We'll talk about a few games tonight. You just said Kentucky, Tennessee. That's a big one.
You mentioned St. John's, Georgetown.
St. John's, Georgetown. I tend to think that's going to be a 2-3 point game. I think 5 is too high. That's just that's a big rivalry, man.
Huge.
And those teams Georgetown's got a decent team this year.
No, they're back. Ed Cooley, he's going to get them back to relevancy. And we talked about Patino and the Johnnies and where they're at this year. So it's going to be, and it's like you said, in Georgetown, it's going to be.
And I'm looking right now, that line legitimately just dropped from 5 to 3.5.
Yep.
It's 3.5 just about everywhere.
Right.
And another game I love tonight, Georgia went to Florida, and I called this the other day.
You did last week.
Florida and got blown out.
Blown out.
They play home tonight against South Carolina, laying 7.5. Look for them to cover that 7.5. They're back home in that barn that they play in. And coming off a big loss, Georgia's got a good squad. They play great at home. They play everybody tough.
Yep.
They probably blow them out at home tonight. Another game I would normally like, but
probably 11-1 at home this year, Howie.
Who did?
Georgia. The Bulldogs are 11-1 at home.
Yeah, you can't. Yep. That's a tough place to play, that barn.
Yeah.
Coming off a big loss, I think they probably get it done against South Carolina tonight. Seton Hall is plus 3.5 at home against Providence, who just beat Georgetown. And I'll tell you why, man. Seton Hall's got injuries, man. The guards, Isaiah Coleman, Jenkins, these guys are hurt. They're banged up.
Yeah. No, they're not. They're not looking good. I feel bad for Shaheem Holloway. Kind of thought he was going to bring Seton Hall back to that Big East relevance of years past, and just kind of keeps coming into that transfer portal bug that most of these schools are going to hit, and then injuries.
Well, you see what Rick Pitino said about him? They said, what's the deal with him? And, why did he lose Kadari Richmond? Rick Pitino said, why did he lose him?
Yeah.
He said, because we paid him $1.5 million.
Right.
He said they could barely pay him six figures. He said he didn't want to leave Seton Hall. He did not want to go to St. John's. But how do you toss a
How do you
kid a
turn
buck
that
and a
down?
half?
Oh, right.
I mean, and Patino said that. He said that's the only reason he's here. Um, you got some other games. You got this again. I love Virginia Commonwealth plays at St. Louis. They're laying 5.5. This is a team that has owned St. Louis like the last 6, 7 years. They never lose to St. Louis, and they usually throttle them. I think they go into St. Louis, and Virginia Commonwealth's playing better than anybody in that Atlantic 10, even better than Dayton or St. Bonnie's, and I think they thrash St. Louis tonight on the road. I like that game a lot.
Minnesota's traveling to Michigan State here in a Big Ten matchup. Howie, they're getting 10.5 in this one. Minnesota's coming off 3 wins in a row, 4 covers in a row, a push before that. We mentioned Michigan State earlier with Izzo. Is that too many points though to give the?
I'm looking at 12.5. And
12.5?
hell yeah, Minnesota plays everybody tough.
Yeah.
They
13
got a
and a half
couple
you can get
guards.
on
Yeah.
FanDuel. Holy shit.
I would have to take Minnesota in that one. Michigan State probably gets it done, but I think Minnesota covered 12. Minnesota plays everybody. They beat Michigan, didn't they? Right?
Yeah, they beat Michigan that was late. That was a buzzer beater. The Garcia kid hit a 3 by 3/4 or
Yep. I have to.
Yeah. They beat Iowa, and then they won at home against Oregon. You go to Iowa and beat the Hawkeyes. It's always a good win.
Iowa's one of those teams, man. They play great at home, but shit, Ohio State throttled them last night. We had Ohio State. They just have a tough time playing on the road, as most teams do. Another game tonight, 9:00. Arizona State, who I'm talking was beating Iowa State Saturday, playing great, and then the last 5 minutes just fell apart. Bobby Hurley's team goes to Colorado tonight, and they're +2. I think they win the game and get it done. They got players, Arizona State. If they can put together 40 minutes, they're very good.
Yeah.
I'll tell you another one I like, man. Baylor, who I don't really like.
Yep.
They got to play in Mormon country tonight. BYU at 9:00. BYU's laying 3.5. BYU starting to blow teams out. They're a different team at home than on the road. It's like night and day. That's a tough place to play, Brigham Young.
Yeah, they're 9-5 against the number, and they're 10-1 at home.
Yeah, I mean,
yep, 9-5 against the number, but we don't know the lines either. So,
I'll throw one more game out here, one more that I like. This is a team you got to watch in the tourney. If you haven't watched San Diego State, they have one of the most explosive guards I've seen in a couple of years. They have a guy that literally he'll strip the ball from you and take off and dunk from the free throw line. He's like 6'1". San Diego State plays at home against San Jose State, who's absolutely horrendous. The line's 14.5. They may be up by that at the half. I just think they blow the. I saw San Diego State play Air Force this year, and they were up 1 or 2. They might have been down at the half. And the second half line was 9.5 or 10, and I took it. And I think they won by almost 40. Like, this team is explosive when they're hot. So I like them tonight in San Diego. But that's
Miles Bird, is that the guard you're speaking of there for San Diego State?
That kid is just a one-man wrecking crew. Yeah, he's fun to watch. He's fun to watch. I'm looking right now. What's this kid? Yeah, Bird. Yeah, he's
averaging 14 a game.
Yeah, he's averaging. He's not a great shooter. He's decent, but this kid is so quick, man. He gets steals and just puts pressure on the ball, and just I'm talking one of the best athletes I've seen. He's just fun to watch. And they play defense. His team, San Diego's, if they get a run going and they come out of that Mountain West, which is pretty decent this year. You got New Mexico, you got Boise State. But this team, they're fun to watch. I think they probably get it done. I'll throw them in. a couple parlays tonight. But yeah, I really like Virginia Commonwealth, San Diego State, and University of Georgia. Those are the three I like tonight.
I'll give you one. My Tar Heels, stay away from them. 19.5-point favorites against BC on Saturday. Almost lost the game on the on
Overtime.
outright. Yeah, they won in overtime, but they down 4 with a minute left in regulation. BC had the ball and BC blew it. Carolina struggles normally in Pitt. Pitt's well coached with Capel. I think Pitt covers that 4.5 tonight in late game at 9 o'clock.
I like it too. I mean,
Yeah,
UNC just has nothing down low. They get out
nothing.
rebounded every game, and
Every game.
they need that NIL money to kick in. But
That's right.
anyways, guys, if you're listening right now, look, if you like what you hear, hit the like button. Follow us on go to my YouTube channel, Howie Dewey. Look us up on the Degenerate Gamblers. We got a ton of content coming. Steve and I are going to be on here again probably Thursday or Friday to talk about weekend games. We'll talk about the NFL next week. But college basketball, we have a ton of stuff coming up. We're right in the middle of it. And I think we're doing pretty well. We're crushing the numbers, man, but we really appreciate you listening. Let's bank.
Let's go.
All right.